foolish mortals.
Hello there. Are you insane? Get out of here!
Remain seated with your seatbelt fastened.
Right, off you go. Welcome to Average Joe Orlando. Hello, theme park goers. Welcome to another one of Average Joe's Front Row Review and Advice. Today we'll be discussing Disney Springs, giving our review of the location and some advice as well, as if the title didn't already say that. Front Row Review and Advice. My name is Joe, and I will be taking this journey with you on our podcast. Thanks for joining us. For those of you who aren't aware, Disney Springs, formerly known as Downtown Disney, is the shopping and entertainment district. Downtown Disney was the name that it opened with, or the marketplace turned into Downtown Disney. A lot of people still refer to it as Downtown Disney. I know I do, just like a lot of us still refer to Hollywood Studios as MGM. Can't change old habits. But Disney Springs is located towards the end of the property at, I don't even know how to describe it, across from Saratoga Springs. You could take boats from Old Key West. You could take boats from Port Orleans and Riverside to Disney Springs. It's divided into 3 different locations. So it is the marketplace, which is the original area of Disney Springs. That is the first area that opened. It expanded into what used to be Pleasure Island, which is now the Pleasure Island area, and the Pleasure Island parking lot is now the landing area. And then the west side, where people know more so of the Cirque du Soleil area, where it used to be Disney Quest. There's a lot of stuff down there as well. So divided into those 3 areas, but very large, a lot of walking areas. For the parking, since they did lose a lot of parking, they do have parking garages. So there's the lime garage, the orange. They have all the different fruits that they named everything after to try to remember where you parked. So today, let's go into more of the review of the area, give some recommendations of some of my favorite areas as well. So to start off with parking, as I mentioned, there is the garages. There is also closer to the Cirque du Soleil, the surface lot parking. However, within the parking garages, you're going to have them all tell you how many spaces are available, which is neat. It's like a smart parking garage, and the light will change above, so you don't have to keep going up and down every row. It'll tell you. There's also the security areas in the parking garages, as well as the walkways if you're coming over from the hotels, either Disney or the hotels at Disney Springs area. They'll have the security areas over there. So give yourself plenty of time when coming into Disney Springs between parking, walking, and going through security. The hours, it usually opens around 10 a.m. every day. Usually we'll open with just one garage, and everything will be labeled as well. You could also take the buses from the resorts. They'll take you there directly. However, there are no direct buses from the parks to Disney Springs or vice versa. This is to prevent people from trying to not have to pay for parking at the parks. They could just park at Disney Springs since it is free parking. So we'll have to go to a resort to get to there and back. Hours usually open till about 11, sometimes 12 p.m. at night. And then there is a lot of places to shop, but there's also a lot of great places to eat, which I'm really going to talk about today. For restaurants, let's go through some of the reviews of where I would say to eat. Starting with sit-down restaurants. So these are more table service restaurants where you will have a server. One of my favorites will be Chef Art Smith's Homecoming. Now, this place serves brunch on select days, lunch, and then as well as dinner. This is more Southern-style cuisine. If you go into the restaurant, it's really interesting. Chef Art Smith was part of the college program. I think it was like in the 70s, so it has a lot of them there. I actually was one time sitting at the bar at the restaurant, and he was walking around to different tables. I found it funny when he checked in on a table and goes, "Can I get you anything?" And they go, "Can we get a refill on soda?" Having no idea who he was. Of course, he didn't come over to me. I wanted to be like, oh my gosh, your food is so good. But the food is excellent, very heavy and not healthy. So if you're on a vacation diet, that's fine. But if you are looking for something healthier, skip this place. The Boathouse, also located in the landing area, is open for brunch on select days as well as lunch and dinner. The Boathouse, one of my favorites, has outdoor seating along the water, and you could sit at the bar whenever you like without reservations. However, reservations are highly recommended. There's the City Works Eatery and Poorhouse, which is located on the west side over by Cirque du Soleil. They have brunch on select days as well as lunch and dinner with a ton of different beers, appetizers, great place to just sit up at the bar as well. Raglan Road, also located at the Landing. Now, this is the Irish location. Great if you want to go inside. They'll do a lot of different entertainment, live music inside and outside as well, and Irish step dancing. They actually have a table in the middle of the restaurant, so there's somebody standing there doing the Irish step dancing. It's a lot of fun. Good different food and drink options as well. Wine Bar George, a little more upscale. Got brunch on select days and lunch, small plates. Wolfgang Puck Bar and Grill. Now, they used to have brunch. I don't believe they do anymore. However, the food here is very good. There was a Wolfgang located over by Eat, over by the Christmas shop on the marketplace side. However, this is now their full table service restaurant. Terralina Crafted Italian. Now, they have happy hour outside at their outdoor bar and Italian food inside. Very good. And then Morimoto for dinner. Delicious food as well, which we'll be circling back to Morimoto for a different Morimoto location as well. Then that is located right across the way in between Art Smith and the Raglan Road. Now, if you're not in the mood to sit down and try to get a reservation and find something, you might want something quick. They have plenty of great locations also at Disney Springs. Starting with the Chicken Guy. This is Guy Fieri, guy with the spiky hair, always puts the sunglasses on the back of his head. So that guy, he has a restaurant, a quick service place over underneath the Planet Hollywood location. One of my favorites, Blaze Fast Fired Pizza. Ooh, that's a tough one. Blaze Fast Fired Pizza. That is a quick service pizza location where you can actually create your own pizza. You go down and you could select. They have gluten-free options. They have vegan options, and you can create your own pizza there as well. However, I will warn you, there is not a lot of indoor seating. Just like with Chicken Guy, there's a lot of outdoor seating, so maybe not the best location on a hot day. Earl of Sandwich. Now, this is a classic over on the marketplace, a place that I've been going to numerous times. I know I went to Disneyland Paris, and the first thing I got was Earl of Sandwich. Very unique. But Earl of Sandwich, great. They also do breakfast as well, sandwiches. They have salads. Also a great location. A newer location, Eat by Minette. I can't even say her last name. She's on Chopped. She's a judge on Chopped, and she's on the Food Network a lot. So Chef Minette has this new restaurant. It is more fast, casual Indian food. When you walk in there, it just smells so good. It's a very hidden location, which stinks because it's never busy, and it's great for guests that it's never busy, but it worries me that it's not going to last long. It's delicious, very good food. This is located over on the marketplace side by the Christmas store. And then the last place that I recommend is Morimoto. That's the Asian street food. So this is outside of Morimoto. They have a walk-up window where you can get their twice fried ribs, which are delicious, and they have bows. They're fast. All their food is good inside, but if you just want something quick, I highly recommend Morimoto outside to get something quick at their street food stand. Now, who wants dessert? You're on vacation. Might as well get something unhealthy. And I highly recommend these three next locations. So for dessert, you have the Everglazed Donuts and Cold Brew. So they have some really interesting donuts. You could also go up to the window and watch them make them a lot of times throughout the day. They're gigantic, and they have different cold brews as well. Usually not just a black cold brew. They usually add lots of unhealthy things into them. They also have a purple ube donut, which is supposedly very good. There's Ghirardelli, located on the opposite side. So Everglazed is over on the west side. Ghirardelli located over on the marketplace side. And this has your different ice cream sundaes. I will tell you, I went in there with family one time, and for like 2 ice cream things were over like $30. It's not the cheapest ice cream, but it's supposed to be very good. And then for me, for best cookies, everybody's probably going to think, oh, Gideon's. No, I'm not waiting an hour to get a okay cookie. I'm going to walk right in and get a delicious cookie at Summer House. So while Summer House didn't make my list for sit down, just because I didn't find the food there to be that great, their cookies are amazing. So Summer House does have a cookie bar, and they always have different kind of cookies, always fresh. And you don't have to wait an hour outside to get into a place just to say you went to Gideon's. Summer House cookies, much better. I hate giving away secrets sometimes on here because I don't want people to start knowing all of my places and make them busy, but this is a place that definitely is worth sharing because they are so good. Now, on top of restaurants, there's always a lot of good bars as well. All of the restaurants that I mentioned do have a lot of bars. However, there are some that are just specific bars that are good to go to. Starting with Jock Lindsay's, that is located actually by Gideon's next to the boathouse. And this is more of an Indiana Jones theme bar. So if you know Indiana Jones and the lore, you'll notice a lot of things in here. It's supposed to be an airplane hangar. They have a lot of different themed drinks. They also have some really cool foods. They have a charcuterie inside of a pretzel. They have some really fun options in there, and they also do some really great holiday layovers as well. So Jock Lindsay's a fun bar over there. A good bar that has happy hour is Stargazer's Bar. I will never recommend Planet Hollywood just because not my jam, but they do have a cool bar downstairs on the first level that looks over the water. Sometimes they have live music outside and happy hours as well. So Stargazer's Bars usually opens around 4 o'clock. House of Blues. Now they have a restaurant inside as well as a concert venue, but they also have an outside bar, some food as well, and they usually have live music out there as well. So great place to go sit down if it's not too hot, listen to some live music, and have a drink out there. And then the last but not least, Dockside Margaritas. So they always have live music out there, usually really interesting, different people as well, doing great live music. You sit along the water. They obviously have margaritas and different drinks as well. The one thing that I find is hard to get at a lot of the bars, just in Disney in general, especially for me, is non-alcoholic options. Disney seems to be heavy on the mocktails, which to me are just sugar bombs. To me, I just want a zero-proof beer. There are a few locations I have found at Disney Springs with zero-proof beers, so if that is something that you like me, there are some great ones. So Boathouse does have usually the Bud Zero. You can go over to, as I mentioned earlier, the CityWorks Eatery has different kinds, as well as sometimes rotating through at House of Blues. Some of the locations you go to, I found, unfortunately, I went to Stargazers, and they go, we have an O'Doul's. And I go, what year is this? Not my jam. So same thing with the Splitsville, only had the O'Doul's. So places are getting better with their non-alcoholic options. It seems to be more and more prevalent. However, a lot of the Disney-owned places seem to be more on the mocktail side, where they just give you a $7 cup of sugar water. Not my jam. As for kids, take kids anywhere. Well, actually don't. I don't want a screaming child next to me when I'm trying to enjoy a nice meal. Especially don't let your kid sit at the bar, please. It shouldn't even be allowed. Get a table. But anyway, kids, two great areas, T-Rex and Rainforest Cafe, both owned by the same company. They also own Yak and Yeti, and there is another Rainforest Cafe on property over at the Animal Kingdom. But T-Rex and Rainforest Cafe have the fun animatronics, the overpriced food. It's just something that kids will like unless they don't like loud. If they might have more sensory issues, I will say they do get very loud. T-Rex Cafe is fun. However, about every 30 minutes, the meteor shower hits to kill all the dinosaurs. So really family-friendly there, I guess. But they both are more loud restaurants with your traditional kind of theme parky food. But if your kids like more of a loud environment with lots of things going on, it is fun for the family. I know as a kid, I always wanted to go to the Rainforest Cafe, and my parents always said, no, we're not eating there. So, oh well. Now, if you want to eat at one of these sit-down restaurants, you need a reservation. So obviously there is My Disney Experience, MDX. However, a lot of the restaurants are third party. Actually, I think everything that I mentioned is a third party restaurant, which means it is not Disney owned. There's plenty of other ones that I did not mention in here, just because these are the ones that I'm recommending since this is my front row review and advice. However, always recommend trying something different. My Disney Experience, highly recommend, especially if you're going on a Friday or Saturday night or for dinner or any time of the day or any day of the week, because it is Disney and it is always busy, and trying to walk up at 6 o'clock on a Saturday, they might laugh in your face politely. Book a reservation. But not only My Disney Experience, you could also try Open Table, since, as I mentioned, a lot of them are not Disney owned. They also might be through Open Table. So if you can't find something through My Disney Experience, the official Disney app, always check Open Table. Some of them are going to be through there as well. I had luck going through one, if not the other. Also, if you don't mind just sitting at the bar, they do have a lot of walk-up seating at the bar areas as well, or just trying to hit things at off-peak times. Or just go ahead, put your name on that wait list, and go find something to do. But highly recommend reservations prior in advance. Now, Disney Springs isn't just to go there to eat or go there to shop. There is plenty of places to shop, though, and the World of Disney is obviously the world's largest Disney store. So if you really can't find it there, you're not going to find it anywhere except maybe at shopdisney.com. But then this place wouldn't be existing. So there is a lot of entertainment. So starting with Cirque du Soleil. So that's at the end of the West Side. They have a new show, Drawn to Life. I unfortunately haven't watched it yet. And anybody that I spoke to hasn't either. So I'm curious who has seen this show. I did replace La Nuba, which was excellent and everybody always liked. This show seems to be always handing out different tickets for promotions, trying to get people there. However, it's still operating. And I heard good things in the reviews that I read, but I don't know anybody that has unfortunately seen it yet. There is live music all over Disney Springs too. If you head there on a Friday or Saturday night, you can't walk 5 feet without seeing live music going on. So there is the waterfront stage over on the marketplace side. You also have, as I mentioned earlier, over at Dockside Margaritas has their live music. House of Blues has live music. They have by the cars over, if you go over to the boathouse, they have these cars. I call them the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang cars because they're cars that turn into boats, but they're not called that to them. But they have the boats that will drive into the water and take you out on the water for an additional price. Next to there's a stage, which they also do live music. So really everywhere you go, there is live music. They also do a lot of great special events at Disney Springs, especially like for the holidays. They'll have different roaming DJs I've seen before. Just a piano player, and the piano player is on a piano that's on wheels, and it just drives around by itself magically. There's definitely not somebody steering it, but it'll drive around, and there'll be the roaming sleigh, and they have a DJ going around on a sleigh that just drives around Disney Springs. A lot of times they do stilt walkers, they have bands going around. They do the Christmas tree trail where you can go around and find all the different themed Christmas trees, which are really fun. There's always different events going on, especially for the holidays. They even did over the summer, they did a drone show that was for free over the water. Great idea, however, made it very busy at night over at Disney Springs, and parking can get crazy because a lot of these things are free. They do, in the summer, the Flavors of Florida, where they'll have different food. So there's always something going on at Disney Springs. However, remember, since this isn't a cost to get in, it does make things a little bit busier since everybody is welcome. Now, there's, of course, a movie theater. There's a movie theater that has 2 entrances. The one side will have the dine-in theater, so if you want to go and have a server come over and you can have food and drinks while you watch your movie, you could do that. Or the other side has the traditional theater where you can go get your popcorn and go in. There's other really fun stores just to wander around. As I mentioned before, the Rainforest Cafe is great. The T-Rex just to walk in. There's also shops in there. The Lego store always has a line outside the building that wraps around. There's Basin, which I always recommend going to wash your hands, which sounds crazy, but over next to Ghirardelli is Basin. They have sinks in the middle with this salt scrub, and your hands just feel so soft after. And then you look at the jar and you go, this is $35. I'm not buying this, but you can wash your hands for free, so go do that. Once Upon a Toy, as I mentioned, they usually have DJs around that area. They have a little train. They have a little carousel over there in the marketplace. The art store, so just a good place to just go and window shop as well, or grab drinks at different places as well. There's Paddlefish, which is a fancier restaurant. However, they have a rooftop bar. You can go on top of the giant boat, which used to be Fulton's Crab Shack. Walk around and get your Joffrey's coffee, which I always highly recommend. So Joffrey's coffee is the one that if you're staying in a Disney hotel, it'll be in your room. Or in the parks, it's always Joffrey's coffee. You can actually buy the bags of coffee there, or just go in and get a cold nitro cold brew or a cup of coffee or a giant donut over there. As you head around that corner, there's also going to be other restaurants in that area. You have STK, Marie and Enzo's, the Edison. A lot of these buildings were actually part of the old Pleasure Island. So if you were here years ago and coming back, you might recognize a lot of things in this area too. There's the hot air balloon that, as long as it's not windy, will take you up. It is connected to a cable, so it won't fly away. However, you can go up and get a great view of Disney as well. And then you keep heading down towards the west side. There's more Starbucks. There's 2 in total at Disney Springs. There's the different stores down there as well. There's the Marvel store, the Star Wars store, the Candy Cauldron store. There's a bowling alley that actually everybody says has some of the best sushi around, which is crazy to think a bowling alley, but there's a full restaurant inside. If you don't want to bowl, you could also just get food or do both. So that's a great rainy day activity. The M&M store as well. And then, of course, as I mentioned, you have at that end the House of Blues, which not only is the restaurant, but quick service, but a bar, but live music, but a concert venue, and then Cirque du Soleil. So a lot of great indoor/outdoor activities, very popular on rainy days to come down. So when people don't want to go to the park or waste their park day, they will come down to Disney Springs to go bowling or go to the movies or maybe see a show or just do some shopping and eating. Also at the bus stop, there is one main bus stop over at the landing. This is for all the resorts, but there's also transfers to the water park. So whichever water park is open, either Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach, all the guests will have to transfer at Disney Springs to take a bus to the water park as well. So Typhoon Lagoon over the summer, very busy. We'll have everybody coming here to transfer and then go out from there. But there are the parking garages, of course, that you could park in, or the surface lot parking. You might see a lot of minivans in the area, which is Disney's Uber or Lyft. They use that as a main hub as well. So a lot of action going on in the Disney Springs area. I always like to end with my do's and don'ts for my reviews. Do, as I mentioned earlier, make reservations. I've always watched people walk up and say, hey, can I get a table of 10? No. Make a reservation in advance. Don't show up on peak nights and just expect to eat somewhere. You are going to wait in a line. You might get turned away for a table. You might just have to go and pick up something quick at one of the carts. So always make reservations in advance utilizing My Disney Experience or OpenTable. Do give yourself time, as I mentioned at the beginning, parking, security. It's going to take you a long time to walk there. You can't just pull up in front of the boathouse and show up for your reservation. It's going to take you a little while. So don't arrive right before. Give yourself time to get through everything, especially if you're taking a Disney bus as well. And do utilize guest relations, the ticket center, stroller rentals. What's cool is since this is not just a typical shopping area, it's a Disney shopping area. So you have Disney guest relations. The same people that work in the parks are here that could help you with those things. They could also help you with your ticket. They could help you selling tickets, buying, adjusting your park reservations. Any questions that you might have at the parks, you could use here as well. There's also the stroller rental services as well. So a lot of the same amenities that you would have in the parks will be here as well. Now, as I mentioned earlier, don't expect the buses to take you to the parks. You will have to go to a resort and then transfer. I would always recommend going to something close. So if you're going to the Magic Kingdom from there, you want to make sure that you maybe go to the Contemporary or something closer. However, remember the buses are going to get busier as the nights go on, so you might be better off just moving your car. Now, there is always something new coming to Disney Springs. I always see a different shop opening, a different restaurant opening, things changing, entertainment coming and going. So everything that we say here is obviously all time sensitive and things will always keep changing. And these are just my recommendations. Everybody likes something different at Disney Springs, and everybody likes to do something different at Disney Springs. And that's the beauty of Disney Springs, is that there's so much to do there. Wow, I said Disney Springs a lot. It's a drinking game again. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed today's podcast, and I will see you at the parks, or I will see you at the Springs. Thanks for taking a ride with Average Joe Orlando.
You made it! I knew you would.
Is everyone okay? Hope you still want to open an account.
Say cheese. See you later.
Thanks, everybody. You were brilliant.
At this time, gather up your personal belongings and take your small grubs by their grubby little hands as you exit. Thank you.